Hi guys, welcome back to Mental Health Monday. My name is Michelle McQueen Bradley with Counselor 96, here to be your international counselor. And remember, in the last two sessions we talked about people pleasing, the importance of not getting trapped in the comparing and competition, I would say even with competition, it's important to have someone in our lives that we look up to, someone we admire, and just learning from their examples. But the only person we want to be like is Jesus. You want to be like him, and he'll put people in your life that'll stretch you and challenge you, and you inspire to be better. And those are all very healthy. And God wants you to have that in your life. In fact, the Bible is filled with individuals that we want to be like, aspire to be like. But ultimately, the person we want to mirror and be like is Jesus. And so today, though, I want to talk about another way of connecting with people is our attachment styles and different ways people attach to people. And in the mental health world, there's four specifically that we tend to gravitate towards, us counselors. But I want to share those four with you. But there are many, many ways that people tend to connect with others that can either be healthy or unhealthy. So let's look at them together. So one of the ways that we find attachment styles, and they can very much be mirrored by projection. Maybe this person reminds you of someone that's hurt you or an incident that's affected you, and then you find yourself treating that person as if they were the ones that hurt you, but they hadn't. But let's look at one of the ways. One of them is avoidant attachment. Now, avoidant attachment, and I'm reading it from some information here, says experience dismissive, controlling caregivers, causing them to shut down. And so you have this type of personality where I can do it by myself. I don't need anybody. I'm good. And that's unhealthy because in the end, you're finding yourself, I don't need people, but then you're still needing people. You're realizing you're wanting connection. You're feeling very lonely. And even people who shut people out, you'll find that they are struggling in other areas. They're often sick. And that's like subconsciously finding a way to get into the people world of maybe, even if it's the hospital world or the rehab world, but they're finding ways to get into that world because they do need people. We do need each other. Okay, so that's an unhealthy style, and I'm going to share three unhealthy styles and then one that's really good for us to best for us to connect. The next one is anxious attachments or ambivalent attachments. And ambivalent meaning I want you with me, but I don't want you with me. So let's talk about it. It says how caregivers who were unreliable, this person has had caregivers who were unreliable, causing a lack of confidence and trust in others and themselves. And so a lot of times they have this feeling like nobody cares for me. And this comes from potentially growing up in a household where there was a lot of abuse, maybe even a neglect. And so they have created and painted a worldview, an image of the world just being uncaring and abusive and not caring about them at all. And so that starts to mirror the way they attach themselves to anyone in this world. And that is so unhealthy. And that's the anxious attachment. The last one is disorganized attachment, where caregivers, again, were unreliable, and they tend to shut down a lot, causing them to act as the caregiver and display avoidance, resistance in relationship. So here, this one is where they struggle to trust people. They struggle on feeling like they can succeed because they feel like anything they try they will actually fail. So they see themselves as failures since that caregiver didn't want to be in their life and really connect with them, so they tend to stay away, and that's a disorganized attachment. We can of course do this several sessions, but let's talk about the one. So we just talked about anxious attachment, avoidant attachment and disorganized attachment. But the good one is secure attachment. And this is where you want to get. In light of all of those bad attachments, you can be healed and have healthy attachments. You really can. And a good healthy attachment is finding relationships where you are comfortable, where you can be honest, where you are able to be vulnerable, and you'll find yourself actually being healthier when it comes to intimacy, having people see you, you see them. Even be and in light of those healthy attachments, you can actually handle pain better. You actually become healthier. So secure attachments are so good. So in order to heal from those other three attachments, to have the secure attachments, you can have that, number one, starting with your relationship with God, because He's one that will not let you down. And it starts, those other attachments, people actually tend to project them onto God, because if they were harmed as a child, they start to feel like, well, where was God when I was growing up? And they forget, who God is, and they don't understand it. But making that reattachment with God, try again and see where He was in all those years that you actually even have this opportunity to reattach with Him. So that's number one, reattaching your life with God. Find healthy people that you feel honest with. You'll find them if you look for them. They'll be there. You'll see people that you can just relax and be yourself. I don't pride myself on this. I give God the glory, but I've seen many clients come to me who feel comfortable. They feel like they can trust me. They feel like I don't judge them. And I feel like that's because God's been in their life, guided them to me. I was able to learn from them so much. I learned from my clients, and we have each other working together as a team. So I encourage you to have healthy attachments this week. Just notice, be self-aware of your connections, your relationships. Notice if they're good connections, bad connections, and let God heal those relationships. All right. Have a wonderful week. Oh, I want to read one verse. Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6 in the New Living. It says, "Be strong, be brave. Do not be afraid of them, for the Lord your God will be with you. He will neither fail you nor forsake you." That's the healthy attachment. For God is with you. Don't be afraid of everyone else. When God is with you, He will not fail you. He will not forsake you. And you'll see it. If you just try Him, you'll see that He is very much faithful and very much that. All right. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.